Hello, everyone. Good afternoon, and welcome to a new Jaltest webinar. My name is Chris Palomains. I'm the Director of Sales for AGV in North America. And today we're going to be looking at some differences and also some similarities between two of the main tractors on this market. Okay, the Case IH Steiger tractor and the John Deere 9R. Okay. So please, in case you have any questions, you can use the chat window. Okay, so one of my colleagues, Isidro Flores, is going to be able to answer all of them. Okay. Also, just keep in mind that this session is going to be recorded. So if anything, you're going to be able to check it out later on our website and our YouTube channel. And just in case you want to rewatch it again. Okay. So basically, we have chosen these two tractors, the Case IH Steiger and the John Deere 9R, because we think they're both comparable, and they're one of the most powerful ones in the North American market. Okay, they are both used for intensive crops that require powerful tractors because of the size of the fields. Okay, mainly we can name here the corn or soybean. Okay, as one of the main crops that these tractors are used for. Okay. The webinar the goal of this webinar is not to compare both tractors as you know from a selling point or something like that. Okay, we're just trying to let you know some differences and similarities in terms of the diagnostics. Okay, just to show you that Jaltest diagnostics, the multi-brand leader diagnostic in the industry, can cover both. Okay, not only cover but providing our users with the full diagnostic capabilities to work with these two models, with these two tractors. Okay, the reason why we have picked these two vehicles is mainly because they're Case IH and John Deere, they're both the main two brands, the main two manufacturers in US and Canada for ag vehicles. Okay, if we attended the sales numbers, the tractor sales numbers, or even the number of dealers all around the country, there's no question, there's no doubt that those are the two main manufacturers in the North American market. And these two models, specifically the Steiger and the 9R, they're, as I said before, they compete each other in the market, so they're kind of comparable models in the same segment, and they have a nice size, and both can include like big horsepower that is needed for the kind of work that they're used for. Okay. Uh, in the For the case Steiger, there is a smaller tractor that has an FP. It comes with a smaller engine. The FPT engine is a Corsair 9 with 330 horsepower of and six cylinders. Okay, but there is also a bigger one, also a FPT engine. In this case, the Corsair 13, and in this case it would have 620 horsepower, 620 horsepower with six cylinders. Okay, for the John Deere, we also have mainly two different versions for the depending on the engine power. Okay, one of them, the smaller one, is going to be the 360 horsepower with six cylinders as well. Okay, and the biggest one would be the Cummins engine. It's a tractor, a John Deere tractor, but in this case, it's not using a John Deere engine, but Cummins QSX 15 engine with 620 horsepower, as well as six cylinder, of course. Okay. So let's start. Let's start looking at the software. Okay, right now you can see here the main screen of the software, how it looks. Okay, so just let me make sure that we are all good to start working with the tool. I'm going to be working with the Jaltest in this case under the simulation mode, connected with my USB cable. Okay, so now we're ready to start using the tool. Okay, first of all, I would like to compare both models, both tractors, in terms of the electronic control units that we can detect for each of those. Okay, so we go first to agricultural vehicles. We select, let's start with the John Deere, for instance. We click on John Deere. We come here to 9 series. and then we click on 9R series. Okay. So right now you can see all the systems that we can detect. Let's perform as all system scan. Okay. So we can first of all detect all the different systems that we could have on this kind of tractor. Okay. First thing, first difference, or in this case, going to be a similarity. When we look at the connector, okay, both are going to be using the same connector. We will check that on the case Steiger later on. Okay, both are going to be using the 9-pin connector, the new high-speed green connector. Okay, but of course, the connector location is going to be different between both brands, between both models. Okay, in the case for this John Deere, is going to be at the back of the cabin. Okay, while for the case Steiger, the diagnosis connector is going to be placed, is going to be located in the armrest box. Okay, I'll show you a picture later on. So right now what I've done, I just click on all system scan. You've seen that, and I click on start scanning. Okay, so now you see that we are trying to figure out which one is the engine that we have on this John Deere 9R series. So imagine that if we would be working with a real vehicle right now, we would have our Jaltest vehicle communication interface connected not only to the computer with the USB cable, but also to the vehicle. And in this case, as shown, would be using the 9-pin connector, the JVC217.9. That's the Jaltest reference for that specific connector. Okay, we hit on scan, and in a few steps, you see that we are scanning the vehicle just to realize how many electronic control units and which ones we have enabled in this vehicle, in this John Deere 9R series. Okay. So just allow a couple of more seconds so we can just finish with this process. Okay, now we have completed the system scan. I'm gonna try to collapse all the photos so we can see a full picture of all the different electronic control units that we do have in this vehicle. Okay, just with a quick view, we can see that we have a lot of electronics, a lot of different units, electronic control units on this 9R series. Okay, we're gonna have a look now to the ones that we are able to detect on the Steiger one, and then we're gonna be able to compare both. Okay, but so of course, starting from the very beginning, we're gonna have an engine, okay, an engine electronic control system here, okay. Then we have transmission, we have the rear power takeoff ECU, we have the braking system, control panel for spool bulbs, remote hydraulic controllers. We have another system here, the ASU for the suspension, okay, another one for the suspension on the front axle, the body computer, which is going to be the central computer, and some other that we can consider as auxiliary or accessory control units. Okay, definitely not the main ones. Okay, but you see, you have already a picture of the how many electronics we can have on the John Deere 9R series. Okay, so let's have a look now very quick to the ones that we're able to detect on the case IH Steiger. Okay, the model is going to be the Steiger, as we said before. Okay, so we come here again, agricultural vehicles. We click on this case on case. Okay, and now we come down to see the Steiger series. And now the system is asking us to select if we're going to be working with a tier 2, with the interim tier 4, or with a final tier 4 engine. Okay, um, I actually don't mind to select one of or the other, but as you've seen before with the John Deere, just pop up like an engine, which I believe it was a interim tier 4. So in this case, I'm going to select the same one, interim tier 4 for the engine, so we can compare both, knowing that they're at the same level, the same tier. Okay, so we click on that. And now you're going to see here all the different electronic control units that we can have on this vehicle. Okay, so let's have a look more in detail. Okay, so starting, for instance, well, one of the difference is going to be this one. You see here that we have two options basically for the engine. As we named before, we have the cursor 13 and the cursor 9. Okay, depending on the horsepower on this FPT engine. Okay, that comes with the case Steiger tractor. And you see that we have two possibilities for each of those engines. Okay, we have CAN and we have K-line. Okay, we are talking here about the communication protocols. Okay, those communication protocols. In the case of the John Deere, we don't have any. We don't have options. It's going to be always through the CAN. Okay, communication protocol. But in this case, we can use CAN or K-line. Okay, it's just one of the difference. Okay, for case they carry two different communication protocols. Okay. So another difference that we can easily realize if we select like for instance, let's select all the engines. Okay. Okay, hold on. Okay, so yeah, one of the difference I was about to mention is that here in the case Steiger one, okay, we see here this system, engine regulation interface, ENG. Okay, that's a system which is associated to the engine system. Okay, the FTP engine system, electronic control system. On this system, basically is gonna show us some of the error codes. Okay, and differently and how John Deere does, we're gonna have two systems for the engine. In John Deere, we're gonna have just one. Okay, the reason is because the manufacturer of this engine, FTP, okay, FTP Iveco, makes different customization on their engines. Okay, just keep in mind that FTP manufactures engines not only for ag vehicles, okay, but also for off-highway applications, okay, yellow irons, and also for other commercial vehicles, trucks. Okay, so these kind of customizations, in this case we're talking about the ones for ag, okay, for tractors, will be included on this system, okay, on this ENG system. Okay, there is no other meaning of that. It's just the way that case do it, or in this case FTP do it. But just for you to know that in John Deere we only have one system for the engine, while for case we do have two different ones. Okay, then if we talk about the body computer, okay, what we call the central computer, we can come here easily to John Deere. Okay, let's go to history and click on the John Deere, the 9 RCs that we are looking at before. Okay, um, 1 second. Okay, so we see here that if we select central computer, we're gonna see just one electronic control unit. Okay, the one that is called CCU. Okay, while if we go to the case Steiger one, okay, let's go back and go to the case Steiger. Okay, for the body computer, we're gonna have not only one control unit, but multiple ones. Okay, in this case, for instance, the system ACM for the armrest control, okay, or the ICP electronic control unit that controls the instrument cluster. They're gonna be on different ECUs, okay, on different systems. And as we just saw for John Deere, they're gonna be all on the same one. Okay. Um, what else we can do here? So let's have a look and check some other systems. Okay, for John Deere, we have also. Let's go back to John Deere. Okay, and we've seen here that for the 9R series, we have an electronic control unit for the braking system. You see this one here, for instance. Okay, we don't have this in the case of Steiger. Okay, the reason is only because John Deere has included for the tractors with wheels independent brakes for each wheel. Okay, basically John Deere looks to control the braking action with a lot more efficiency, and in this case, this is something that the Steiger case is not offering us. Okay, so if you guys, you Jaltest users, try to find that system for a case Steiger, even when they're again comparable models, you're not going to be able to find that particular braking system, okay, that we do cover for John Deere. It's not that Jalta is not covering for case, is that case it doesn't have this system for the Steiger tractor. I don't know exactly the reason why case doesn't do that, but could be that most of the case Steiger tractors are track tractors instead of wheel tractors. And of course, this system is going to be only enabled for wheel tractors. Okay. Also, let's have a look to the hydraulics. Okay, so now we are here in the John Deere 9R series. Okay, imagine that we wanna replace the spool valve, so we wanna do the setup of a new spool valve, or even use a unused one, but we wanna replace the existing one. Okay, you see that we have multiple electronic control units. Okay, it's gonna be one here that is going to allow us to diagnose the spool valves. Okay, and this is the one that controls all the spool valves. Okay, the SCC. But then with John Deere, we're going to have like some other units, SV1, SV2, SV3, that control that's going to control the spool valve individually. Okay, if we access, for instance, to this control unit, okay, we're going to realize about other difference. Okay, for instance, let's click on connect, and imagine that now, for instance, related with the spool valves, we wanna do the spool valve identification code. Okay, we're gonna be able to do that just clicking here, parameters. Okay, you see the different options that we do have for the spool valves. We click on the spool valve identification code, and now we're gonna be able to just complete this action, using the Jaltest software. Okay, we click on check, and it's as simple as this. Give us first instructions, then initial conditions. We keep going on check, and we're gonna be able to, set up those new or use spool valves that we are using to replace the existing ones. Okay. We're gonna see now in a minute how to do this with the case, which is a little bit different. Okay, but first, I wanna also show you something else here that I'm going to show you in case, just to realize that we have some difference, but we have also some similarities between both brands. Okay, imagine that we want to check the wiring diagrams, for instance, on this spool valves electronic control unit. Okay, we're going to be able to do it exactly the same as we can do it for the engine. For the transmission, we're going to be able to check the schematics, the wiring diagrams for this system as well. Okay, for instance, right now, let's do a zoom out. Okay, so we're going to be able to find any component on this system, on this electronic control unit. Okay, so imagine, for instance, I type in here clutch. Okay, just in case we're trying to find the, let's say, the oh, okay, right here. Okay, yes. So imagine you want to check the spool valve control unit. You're going to be able to check where is it connected on the ECU. Okay, how looks the electronic control unit on the tractor, and where is it located. Okay, which is, I think, pretty useful information for the users of Jaltest. Okay, so this is basically for John Deere. Let's go back now and check how to do this on the case Steiger. Okay, so we come here, select it manually, and after that we're going to be able to use that shortcut, that quick button. Okay, so again, case H, we come here to Steiger. Okay. So in this case, as I said here, for the hydraulics, we're not going to have multiple electronic control units. We have mainly one. Okay, the RE8R system, the RE8R ECU. Okay, we click on that, and we are going to be able to type how to perform, in this case, the spool valve identification code that I just showed you with the John Deere. Okay, here you can see where is the connector located, as I told you before. It's just under the armrest. We hit on connect, and now we are connecting to this remote hydraulic controller system for case. Okay, we click on here on parameters, and we're going to be able to modify some parameters. One of those is going to be the spool valve identification code. So you see, different manufacturer, different model, not a John Deere 9R, but a case Steiger tractor, but we can do the same thing. Okay, Of course, there's some differences on the way to perform this action. Here you see the message from Jaltest. This control unit does not allow the automatic calibration through the system diagnostics, so we need to perform a manual process that allows the calibration. So can we do with Jaltest? Yes, because we are going to be providing you the technical release, okay, with all the different steps that our Jaltest user need to follow in order to complete this parameter setting of the identification value for the spool valves. Okay, they just need to follow the technical release, and they're going to do exactly the same thing as we could do with the John Deere 9R, even when we didn't have a technical release and it was an action that was already included in the diagnostic tool. Okay, so let's have a look to some other details here. Okay, let's see some other second, other systems that we can detect for the case IH. Here we have also the power takeoff system. Okay, in case it's gonna be named as the PTO. Okay, while for John Deere is gonna be the RPT. Exactly the same thing. Okay, both are gonna allow us to perform the main diagnostic functionalities for the power takeoff electronic control unit on both vehicles. Okay, different name for the ECUs, but same functionalities, even if we are working with a case or with John Deere. Okay, then something important to check is going to be the transmission. Okay, in this case, let's have a look to the transmission. On this case, Steiger. Okay, this is going to be, well, both of them actually, the transmission for the case Steiger and the transmission for the John Deere 9R are going to be power shift transmissions. And if we have any issue with them, if we need to replace any components or just calibrate transmissions, we can do it on both. Okay, Jaltest is going to be able to help you out on both, not only with the transmission for the case Steiger, but also with the transmission for the John Deere 9R. In this case, also in both models, we are going to be able to do a manual transmission, okay, following the technical release. Exactly the same thing as I showed you before for the spool valves. We're going to have the same information here for the transmission calibration, okay. Same thing. Remember before that I was showing you some wiring diagrams. We can check those diagrams also in the transmission, also in the engine system. For each system, we have, specific information, okay. I just click on wiring diagrams just for you to have an idea on how complete is the information that we include in Jaltest. Okay, same thing. We can do zoom out just to check all the schematics, or we can check here and show component list. Okay, just in case we are looking for any specific component. Okay, we can check more information. For instance, let's say the same thing that we've done before. Okay, let's see that you wanna check the clutch control solenoid valve. Okay, you can click on that and you're going to be able to check how this valve looks. Okay, you're going to be able to check some resistance values, pinouts. Okay, and then we can do the same thing with the John Deere. Okay, imagine that we are done with this and you want to check that information as well as just confirm, check it out if we are able to perform the transmission calibration on the John Deere transmission, on the John Deere 9R transmission. Yes, we're going to be able to do it. Let's click here, use the shortcut. Let's go to 9R. Okay, we're back with working with the John Deere 9R series. Okay, so let's select now the transmission. This is the right system, the PTP power shift transmission. We click on connect. And as I said, in this case, we're going to have the same option, calibration. So we have the option to calibrate the transmission. Okay, we have two options, a vehicle without touch screen or a vehicle with touch screen. Okay, click on that and we're going to be able to pull out to check the technical release with all the steps that we need to follow in order to perform that transmission calibration. Okay, same thing as we just showed you for the case Steiger. Okay. So now, well, remember I was showing you the wiring diagrams for the clutch control solenoid valve on the case Steiger. Let's see, we have that information, for instance, here for the John Deere, just for you to make it both comparables. Okay. So let's see, we come to the wiring diagrams, schematics, in this case for the 9R. We click on show component list. And now we type in here, same thing, clutch. So clutch control solenoid valve. We click on that, and we're gonna be able to check same information. How this valve for this 9R series look, okay, the resistance value, as well as some of the possible states of the proportional solenoid valves, okay? And anytime you're gonna be able to check the pinouts or even the electronic control unit, how this ECU looks or where is it located, okay? How the pinout looks and where is it located on the body of the tractor. Okay. So now let's move to to check the main system. I would say, like, I was just leaving this for the end of this webinar. Let's have a look to the engine. Okay, how the engine works. Let's compare both. Okay, again, we are comparing here interim tier 4 engines. Okay, and the main difference between these two tractors, between these two engines, is going to be that the Steiger has no DPF. Okay, the case has no DPF, but they're going to have an SCR. Okay. Um, on the other hand, John Deere 9R is going to bring a DPF, and this is only different technologies. Okay, this is only about different technologies used by these two manufacturers, Case and John Deere, that they just decide to follow in different paths in order to tackle to solve the issues of the anti-pollution law, okay, the anti-pollution regulation. Okay, but of course, these differences are going to imply different diagnostic actions too. Okay, so let's have a look first to the engine system on this John Deere 9R series. Okay, so let's go to the interim tier 4 engine we set, this level 22, for instance. Okay, we hit on connect, and we're going to be able to check all the different options, all the different functionalities that of course are going to be more than for the other systems that we were looking at before. Okay, we're going to be able to check fault codes, we're going to be able to clear them from the ECU, we're going to be able to even check a step-by-step guide on how to fix each fault code. Okay, information about the fault codes, okay, components that could be related with the fault code, so we can link this with the wiring diagrams, check pictures and all that. Okay, same thing as I showed you before. We're going to be able to check all the different locations for the vehicle components, how the electronic control unit looks, and all that information. But now, of course, for the main system, for the engine in this case. Okay, we see here the wiring diagrams. Okay, and more important than that is going to be some of the things I want to show you now. Okay, the rest of the diagnostic functionalities, system data, which is going to be information about the ECU. Okay, um, like reference, engine type, software version. Okay, information about the electronic control unit of this tractor. Okay, we're going to be able to check also engine load profile. We're going to be able to check live data. Okay, basically monitor live data selection, pressure, temperature values, speed values when we run the engine. Okay, we're going to be able to activate components. We can activate those two, for instance, on this 9R series tractor, the AGR valve or the fuel feed pump. We're going to be able to do system check-ins, all those compression tests in the cutouts, in the performance test. I'm just doing like a quick view just for you to compare both. Okay, just later on I'll show you this on the Steiger and the case Steiger tractor, so you can see that different brands, different models, but same kind of coverage. Okay, and then the most important thing, as I said before, the main difference between Case and John Deere in this case is going to be the way that they work with the anti-pollution system. Okay, for instance, in this John Deere, okay, we're gonna have everything integrated on the electronic control unit ECU. Okay, so we're gonna be able to do regens, even to perform the service mode regen when the suit level in a John Deere tractor is in five level, really high. There's only one way to solve it, and that's performing a service regen. We are able to do that with with Jaltest. Okay, same thing with other options that you can see here. After treatment system fault clearing, we are going to be able to do the differential pressure reset, particular filter regeneration. Okay, and this is what we have for John Deere. Okay, apart of that, I just missed some calibration options, EGR, VDT, or parameters that we can change for this tractor, for this 9R series tractor. Injector exchange, injector coding, we're going to be able to codify new injectors and all that. Okay, so this is just for you to have a quick idea about about the John Deere, what we have for the engine. Also, if we want to check some other information, we want to check, imagine vehicle technical data, tightening torques, or some other technical data, we can check that. Okay, and I'll show you the same thing later on for the case Steiger. Okay, let's see. Let's wait very quick until we load all this information. My computer is today a bit slow, but we just made it. Okay, so you see here specifications, engine distribution, fuel system, how this works, accessories, and tightening torques. Okay, tightening torques not only for the crankshaft, but for the cylinder heads, for the flywheels, vibration dampers, all that technical information that is really, really important for the technicians. And we do have it not only for the John Deere or for case, but for all the different manufacturers and models in the ag market, okay, in North America. So we disconnect now from John Deere and just have a quick look on how to work with the case Steiger on everything regards the engine. Okay, so we click here, case IH Steiger. We use the shortcut, which is quite useful in order to show you all this information on the webinar today. We select the engine now, okay, and we can have a look, for instance, to the cursor 13. Let's have a look to this one, okay. Again, as I enter here for engine, same thing as we were checking for the John Deere 9R. And here we're gonna have the same options, okay. We're gonna be able to read fault codes, clear them, check wiring diagrams, check information about the fault codes, check components that could be related with that fault code. We're going to be able to clear the fault codes, system data, exactly the same information as I showed you before with John Deere. Monitoring live data, selection, actuate components, system check-ins where we can see all the cylinder tests, compression tests, all that. Okay. Parameters that we can change for this case Steiger, as I showed you before with the John Deere. We can also do the injector coding for this case tractor. And finally, the system checking. Oh, not system check-ins. Hold on one second. Yeah, finally, I want to show you the after treatment options. Okay, remember we said we don't have a DPF on the case tractors, in this case Steiger, and we do have another difference. Okay, which is that, as I told you before, the anti-pollution system and the engine system are both together on John Deere, but they're not here in the case of Steiger. So we do have a separate system for the anti-pollution system. It's the one named as DCU15. Okay, so I select now the after treatment system. I hit on connect, and we're gonna be able to see different options. Okay, in this case, it's basically working with the SCR, as I said before. Okay, so we're gonna be able to well, of course, check some other functionalities, but the main one is going to be to to reset the startup counter on the SCR and then do the verification of the SCR clearing fault code. Okay, that's what we can do basically here with the case Steiger options. Okay. Okay. So yes, if you're curious about it, we can have a look to the options I'm mentioning, the CR full clearing, and let me check it. Let me show it to you very quick. So I just click on the wrong one. So let's select again the engine, okay? And as I said, with the SCR, with this tractor that we don't have DPF, we select that we only have an SCR. We come to the maintenance menu, exactly the same thing as we did with the John Deere 9R tractor, okay? And we're gonna see here the startups counter restart. Okay, that's what we need to do in case we're having that issue with the tractor, that we're not able to run the engine, or we're able to run the engine, but just for a couple of seconds until it shut down again. So just resetting this startups counter, this startups counter, we are going to be able to, run the engine for at least 30 minutes, okay? And if no error is detected on the SCR system, we're going to be able to keep working with the tractor. And if anything happens, at least it's going to allow us to move the tractor and just take it to the nearest shop and solve the issue, which is something really, really good that is offering Jaltest Diagnostics, okay? After we do the startups counter restart, if we clear the codes related with the SCR, we're gonna need to do that specifically. Okay, we need to come here to system settings, and we should have this option of the verification of the SCR system fault repair. Okay, after we clear the fault codes, in order to keep working with the tractor, we're gonna need to perform this actuation. Exactly the same thing as the case OEM software allow their users. Okay. I think this is pretty much everything, but just one more thing that we can look at is about the manual diagnostics, okay, which could be really useful in some cases when imagine that we are working with the tractor in the field, and we need to talk to the technician who is in the shop, like an hour away or whatever he is, and we need to let them know the code that we are getting, or we need to check what is that code about. Okay, that's why the manual diagnosis is important. Okay, so let's see, for instance, for John Deere, okay, for the John Deere 9R, imagine that we want to check one of the codes using manual diagnosis. We click here on manual diagnostics. Okay, then we just need to select the system where we want to work with the manual diagnosis. For instance, again, the same one, the Inter Tier 4 Level 22 engine. We click on that. And now you will see that the system is gonna ask us for the full code number for the specific full code, actually. Okay, so we can type in here. For instance, I do have one here, the 3251.04. Okay, that's John Deere full code. Just an example. We search, and we're gonna get exactly the information about this fault code. Okay, this fault code, for instance, about the differential pressure sensor on the particular filter, meaning that the signal value is out of range. Okay, also we provide you here, of course, the troubleshooting, all the different steps that you need to follow in order to solve that fault code that we are using to show you guys the manual diagnosis that we can do for John Deere when we know a fault code, even when when we are not able to perform the diagnostics going through the different menus. Okay, same thing, we can do it for the case i8. Okay, so imagine we come here again to the case i8 interim tier 4 engine. Okay, we do exactly the same thing. We select the engine in this case. Okay, let's have a look to the cursor 9, for instance. Now, okay, we click on that. Oh, actually, I need to click on manual diagnosis first. Same thing, engine. Okay, we click on see info, and now we just need to type in the code. In this case, let's type it in case i8 tractor fault code. Okay, let me search for one here. Okay, so this one, for instance, we click on check, and exactly the same thing. We're going to be able to check not only what is the code about, in this case, the short circuit to positive in the solenoid valve in the EGR, okay? And also we can check the fault code troubleshooting, okay? Here we can click on this document, and we're going to be able to check the step-by-step guide, a technical release on how to fix that particular fault code. Okay, it's troubleshooting for that particular fault code related, in this case, with a short circuit. Okay, it was just an example. All right. So yeah, I think that's pretty much everything. Again, the message I want you guys to keep is that it doesn't matter if we're working with a case tractor or with a John Deere tractor. Today we were talking about these two big guys, the Steiger tractor and the 9R, but we could discuss about any other tractor from John Deere, from Case, from Kubota, from ACO Group. It doesn't matter the make, it doesn't matter the model. Jaltest is going to be able to help you out. Okay, it's going to provide you all the information needed to work with any piece of equipment. It's going to allow you to read fault codes. It's going to allow you to perform bidirectional controls, regens, injector calibrations, and all that. Okay, so thank you very much for attending. To all of you guys, wish you a nice rest of the day, and of course, I think some of you already asked some questions using the chat window, but in case you need more information, you have more questions, please, you can contact us on our social networks, Facebook. You can just reach us using the customer support phone number, or just go to the website jaltest.com, where you can find all the information. Same thing for our YouTube channel, where you can check this video or some other about different topics related with Jaltest diagnostics. Okay, thank you very much, and have a good day. Bye bye.